Hello, very good morning to you. You're watching Sunrise. I'm Sarah Jane Mee. We start this morning with the Grenfell Tower fire and claims that more lives could have been saved if firefighters responded to the disaster had better equipment. In the 9 months since that fire, we have heard from the residents who escaped, the campaigners calling for justice, and the politicians vowing to learn the lessons from the disaster that killed 71 people. One voice that has gone largely unheard is that of the firefighters who risked their lives in that burning tower as they tried to rescue as many people as they could. Sky News has spoken exclusively to one of those firefighters who claims that he and his colleagues could have saved more people if it weren't for failing equipment. We have disguised his face and voice to protect his identity. He spoke exclusively to Charlotte Lomas.
Well, it's towering inferno, isn't it? Well,
how is that possible? It's jumped up all the way along the flats.
How was that happening?
It was like nothing I've ever seen. It went so quickly from a tiny fire on the outside and fizzed up, down, sideways. It looked like someone had poured petrol down the side of the building.
"71 people died in the Grenfell fire. This firefighter tells us more lives could have been saved, and making residents stay inside and wait for help was a mistake.
When we were sent into the tower, we couldn't see much. Going onto the stairwell on certain floors, it was eerily quiet, and it soon became apparent that the radios weren't working, and we had lost all communication. The higher up we went in the tower, it felt like you were very much alone. You couldn't radio back to let people know where you were, what you were doing, if you had done the job you had been sent up there to do.
Do you think that more lives could have been saved?
I think there would have been more chance of getting people out, yeah. If we'd had proper radio communications, yeah, there was a chance we could have got a few more people out.
Sky News has learned that there was serious doubt about the quality of the radio communication system. The Fire Brigade Union had argued there were issues with it for some time, well before the night of the fire. But perhaps more controversial was telling residents to stay in their flats and wait for help, a policy this firefighter believes should have been changed.
Looking back, I do think there was a stage in that night that the stay-put policy should have been changed. I don't think it was done early enough. I don't know if it would have caused some kind of stampede on the stairwell. I don't know if it would have saved more lives or killed more people. I really don't know. But I just believe, from what I saw on the outside of that building, it was quite apparent, quite early on, that these people should have been given a chance to get out.
The tower had 23 floors. Coroner reports show many bodies were found in flats on the upper levels as people fled to escape the fire. But the equipment firefighters had made reaching the top practically impossible.
We carry standard duration breathing apparatus, which gives about 25 to 30 minutes of air, depending on how hard you are working inside the building. So you can imagine sending someone up that stairwell, up to the 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd floor. By the time they get up there, they haven't got hardly any time at all before they've got to come back down again. It soon became apparent during the night that sending us in with standard rather than extended durations was literally suicide.
Of all the firefighters on duty, some were highly experienced, others just weeks into the job. For all of them, the events of that night was something they'd never experienced.
When your whole communication system breaks down, it turns everything into guesswork. It was the biggest failure of the night as far as the fire brigade was concerned. No one could talk to anyone outside. You imagine a firefighter going up to a certain floor in Grenfell Tower and telling someone to stay put because that's what they've been told to tell them, and not knowing that the outside of the building is fully engulfed in flames. Now, firefighters have to live with that because no one could tell them inside the building that there is a raging inferno outside. I know firefighters would have made a decision to get more people out of that building if they knew what was going on the outside of that building. The tower was literally crumbling apart. I can only describe it as like a war zone out there. And at certain stages, we were taking casualties out and taking as many firefighters with breathing apparatus into the building. And you literally fell into craters and things were exploding above your head, and we were using riot shields to protect people going in and out of the building. Nothing can prepare you for what happened that night.
This is the headquarters of the London Fire Brigade. They've refused to discuss the points we've raised on camera, instead sending a statement from the Deputy Assistant Commissioner, Andy Bell. In it, he says it's essential that we understand what happened on the night of the Grenfell Tower fire to prevent such an incident ever happening again. Firefighters will give evidence properly later this year as part of the public inquiry, and every aspect of the brigade's response is part of the ongoing police investigation. We cannot undermine the legal processes and react to unofficial claims at this time. Firefighters on the front line that night say the memories will haunt them forever.
Just looking up at the tower and sitting there after being in that building and trying to recover and looking at all the shocked faces of all the firefighters. It was horrible. It was like a numbness and just wide-eyed firefighters who were just in shock. I'm a completely changed man. I live with it day to day, and there's not a day goes past that I don't think about it, and it's really tough. There's still so much guilt as well that we had to leave 71 people in there.
Well, Charlotte joins me now in the studio. Charlotte, of course, got that exclusive interview, and there's been some breaking news this morning on the investigation into the fire, Charlotte, from Metropolitan Police.
That's right. It's part of their ongoing criminal investigation. They've been carrying out forensic examination. As part of that, a test that is off-site testing that have been carried out by independent experts on behalf of the Metropolitan Police. Now, as part of that investigation, a door, the flat front door from Grenfell Tower, was taken for testing. It's designed to resist fire for up to 30 minutes, but the Metropolitan Police have said during the test it was only found to resist the fire for approximately 15 minutes, a much shorter period than expected, so half the time than it should have. The forensic examination, the testing phase is ongoing, and the Metropolitan Police have said that they're unable to comment as to the potential impact or otherwise that any test result may have on the overall criminal investigation. They have shared their information with the Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government, and we are expecting a government announcement on this later on today. Sky News has also been speaking to independent fire experts about this issue, about the flat front doors, and they've said they've been calling for change in the regulation of fire regulation for some time. And obviously this does raise a lot of questions surrounding that, and obviously will form part of the ongoing criminal investigation and the government public inquiry.
OK, Charlotte, thank you for that update, that breaking news there this morning with regard to the Grenfell Tower fire. You can see Charlotte's exclusive interview with the firefighter at 9:30 here on Sunrise, so in around 20 minutes' time, and it'll be shown throughout the day here on the channel. Also this morning, the Russian Foreign Ministry has called Theresa May's